Hi, gang. Bob Bolton here to bring you The Mystery Project and another new episode of Clean Sweep. Run a mystery of any sort past Bonnie Marsden, and it rockets around in her head till she figures out an answer, even while she's trying to make sense of her own problems. The play is called 4 Feet Down. Deborah Allen and Richard Donat star as Bonnie and Ben Marsden.
I guess she just didn't hear you. Fences are solid enough.
Bessie! Did you get all the stalls cleaned out?
Just a couple more and I'm done for the day. Unless you got any more chores for me.
Well, not till that trail ride on Saturday. Bessie!
She was running around just fine this morning, but looked a bit confused.
Well, of course she would be. After 10 years always having Bruno beside her. Take a long time before she stops looking for him. Bessie!
Rose? Over there where we found Bruno.
Oh, no. Bessie! Bessie!
I'll get it, Mom. Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have dialed the wrong number. I was trying to get 2319.
Yeah, this is... Rose?
Moyle? I thought you was working out west again.
I was. Am, but not out west anymore. The company I work for got bought out by some Americans, so now they got me working on a rig in the Gulf of Mexico. 4 weeks on, 2 weeks off. I came home for my 2 weeks.
I had thought that somebody who got 2 weeks off on the Gulf of Mexico.
No, I stayed down there for my first couple of breaks. But them Mexican girls, you know, they'll wear you out.
I'm glad. I mean, your leg all right?
My leg?
I heard you was home back at Christmas because you broke your leg.
My foot. Yeah, it's all healed up.
Oh, that's good. Actually, I called to talk to your father.
Dad's not here. That's sort of why I am.
Pardon me?
Maybe you better talk to Mom. Mom! She'll pick it up in a minute.
Thanks. Nice to talk to you, Moyle.
Yeah, you too. Oh, hey, Mom.
Hello?
Bonnie, it's Rose Coffin.
Oh, hi, Rose.
I was calling to ask Ben something, actually. There's something funny going on. On this new pasture I opened up, that's leased Crown land. I thought maybe it's ground Ben might know something about from when he was working with the Parks Department. But Moyle tells me Ben isn't there.
Yeah, I guess you don't do much hanging around beauty parlors and coffee shops where gossip gets passed around.
Pardon me?
Well, since about 3 weeks ago, Ben's been living out at the McGuigan's hunting camp.
Oh.
What's the something funny that's been happening on your pasture?
Well, it's not very funny, not to me. That's where I've been pasturing my team of Percherons. Good horses for sleigh rides and hay rides, but I probably would have kept them even if they wasn't making any money. They're so sweet-tempered.
Yeah, there's something hard to resist about a horse that huge and that gentle.
Well, last week we found Bruno dead in that pasture. Bessie was nosing up at him like, come on, get up.
What a sin.
The vet said heart attack. It happens. Well, this morning, Bessie just dropped down dead, too, in the same part of the pasture. I thought maybe there might be some kind of natural explanation, like maybe there used to be some kind of old plant or factory putting poisons in the watershed. So I called the land deeds office for a history.
And what'd they say?
Nothing. I mean, they said there was nothing. It's always been Crown land.
Oh.
And then I thought maybe the Parks Department did some work there way back when with some sort of chemicals. Or maybe something poisonous got planted there. I thought I'd check out first if Ben might remember something like that. I'd just as soon not have to call the RCMP to investigate.
Yeah, I know.
You know what happened to the horses?
No, I mean I know why you'd rather not call in the RCMP and get the corporal involved.
How would you know that?
Oh, last summer you and I had that conversation in your stable about Moyle.
I remember.
And then I just stumbled across a coincidence that told me the rest.
I see.
Oh, don't worry. No one else knows except Ben, and he doesn't talk about other people's business. But I'm sure he'd be glad to help you out, if he can. Well, there's no phone at John McGuigan's hunting camp, but they'll take a message for Ben at McGuigan's garage. He works there sometimes.
Well, thanks, Bonnie.
No problem. I hope things work out for you.
You too.
Bye now.
Who's your vet?
Doc Riley?
Well, he's been around. What'd he say?
Heart attacks, probably. It was right around here we found Bruno.
And where Bessie went down.
Well, my memory around here is kind of vague. Been almost 5 years since a government change cost me my Parks Department job. And a few years before that, I did any work around this chunk of land. I can't remember spraying any chemicals hereabouts. But it seems to me it was somewhere nearabouts. I was on a crew digging a trench for a buried power line, running up to the transmission towers on the hill there. Maybe if a piece of that cable cracked or got uninsulated.
But me and Doc Riley walked all around here. Nothing happened to us.
Me, too.
So did the guys that had to haul the horses away. In fact, now I look around, you're standing on the exact same spot I found Bruno.
I am?
Exact same spot.
Tom, don't you still got all them horses to saddle up for the trail ride?
Yes, ma'am. I'll get on that right away.
Nobody come out here much but you and your hired hand?
Tom?
Yeah, I'm guessing he's your hired hand. Same job as Moyle was doing for you last summer.
Sort of. Tom Cavanaugh's not as good with horses, but he can shovel out a stall if you remind him.
Cavanaugh? I don't know any Cavanaugh. He from around here?
His father's Albert Cavanaugh in Butcher's Corners.
Oh, them Cavanaughs. Butcher's Corners ain't the first place I'd think to look for somebody to work at a high-tone riding stable.
Well, that's where I came from.
Yeah, well, you came a long way around. Anyway, none of that's any of my business. Sorry I can't give you any better guess at what might have happened to the poor horses, but I can't. Except, you got any enemies, Rose?
Not as I know of. Why?
Well, I don't know much about horses, but I know they're hellish expensive to take care of. For all that, they're so big and strong they can come up with 1,000 different ways to get you making emergency phone calls to the vet. Somebody that does know much about horses, they'd probably know how to give them something in a needle or, something to eat that'd make them drop down dead of a heart attack.
Anybody knew horses that well wouldn't do a thing like that.
Well, you never know with people. Anyway, I'm afraid I don't have a clue to give you. Guess you're going to have to call in the Mounties to look things over.
Yeah, I'll talk to one of the constables.
Look, would you mind calling Bonnie and tell her if this works out? You probably heard that we aren't talking unless we have to.
That's not good.
That's the way things are.
Yeah, I could have done with another beer, but if I don't get you home for supper, Mom will have my ass. You got a hot date for tonight, or are you saving it all up for the girls at community college?
Heavy days. Two-hand Monopoly's no fun, so I promised Melissa when I was home I'd play with her and Mom.
When I was your age, playing Monopoly with my baby sister wasn't my idea of a Saturday night.
But I'm not the same as you, Moyle.
A damn good thing, too.
Good evening, Mr. Marsden. Mr. Marsden?
Corporal Kowalczyk. Seems every time we run into you, it's in the parking lot of the Blackbriar.
Only this time, we don't need first aid.
You hang out here all the time?
There's something I'd like to discuss with you, Moyle.
Sure. You might as well warm up the car, Robbie.
Okay.
Better you should drive anyway. I down him faster than you.
No kidding.
One of my constables took some information from Rose Coffin to do with the mysterious deaths of two of her horses.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
I followed up with an interview with the vet who'd done the examinations. Since your father had been the source of other information, the Marsden name came into the conversation, and the vet mentioned in passing that he knew you and your brother from back in 4-H days.
Old Doc Riley?
Correct. He mentioned that your brother Robbie had a deep interest in animal behavior. In fact, He'd figured that Robbie would be at university studying animal science rather than taking forestry courses at community college. So, we have a chain of coincidences. You've worked with horses before, your brother has a great deal of amateur veterinary knowledge, and the unexplained horse deaths at Ashland Stables have happened while you've been home on leave from work. And you have reason to have a grudge against Rose Coffin.
Just what the hell reason would that be?
It's not exactly common knowledge, but I am aware that you and Ms. Coffin had an emotional involvement that she cut short.
And how the hell would you know that?
You remember the last time I saw you in this parking lot last summer, when you were battering 3 other gentlemen with a steel pipe?
They jumped me.
I know. But your reaction went a long way beyond self-defense. Didn't you wonder why I didn't charge you with assault with a weapon?
Figured you was just being human.
The day after the incident, Miss Coffin called me.
Why would she call you?
Because I'm the detachment commander. She told me, without going into a lot of details, that you were in a highly charged emotional state, and that viciousness wasn't part of your character.
Oh, yeah?
I believed her at the time. But now it appears someone is trying to get at her through her horses. Someone with a grudge against her.
If you think I'd do anything to hurt Rose, you're even stupider than cops are supposed to be.
People do strange things when emotions are involved. I'm just advising you that if there are any further strange occurrences at Ashland Stables, I'll be speaking to you again.
You might wish you didn't.
I've delivered the message I came to deliver. Good evening.
I tell you, Mom, if he hadn't been wearing his Mountie suit, I would have clocked him.
He's just doing his job, Moyle.
His job? His job is to make up half-ass guesses and then go around yanking people's chains in parking lots? I should have clocked him.
Moyle, I want you to go talk to your father.
Dad? Why? I mean, I was going to...
I want you to tell him exactly what you told me and see what he has to say.
He ain't exactly in any position to be giving people advice.
Just go talk to him, Moyle. Okay?
Sure, Mom. Just because Kowalczyk got the notion that Rose broke my poor little heart back when, he come around to warn me that he figures me and Robbie are poisoning Rose's horses. I told Mom he comes around again, I'll drop him. And I will.
Well, he's not the first small-town mountie to come around to somebody and say, I can't prove it, but I know what you did and don't do it again. Usually they got a better reason.
Any kind of reason.
I guess why your mother wanted you to come talk to me is I got more experience with this kind of thing than she does.
What kind of thing?
Hunting out police officers. I had a temper when I was young.
When you was young?
I've slowed down some since then. Well, let's look at the possibilities here. You're bigger than Kowalczyk and you're a scrapper. Whether he's a scrapper or not, I don't know. Besides restraining prisoners and that sort of thing. If you take a poke at him, it's going to end up one of only 2 ways. Say he beats the crap out of you.
I doubt it.
Everybody does until it happens. Say he beats the crap out of you. That's not a good thing for you. Say you beat the crap out of him. That also is not a good thing for you. Even if he's too proud to lay charges, every other mountie in Membertou County is going to be pulling you over as soon as you pull out of the driveway, safety checking your vehicle with a magnifying glass, waiting with a breathalyzer whenever they see you going into a tavern. With the new Nova Scotia laws, they can take away your license for 24 hours even if you're under .08. They got 1,000 ways to make your life miserable.
So, I'm just supposed to let him make bullshit accusations and yank my chain in parking lots.
Well, he shouldn't have done that. But I guess he feels a little overprotective.
Overprotective?
I think your mother told you, back when you and Rose were having your problem, that the reason Rose cut you out was because she was already crazy in love with this guy who was in love with her. But they couldn't be together.
Yeah?
It's Kowalczyk.
Rose and Kowalczyk?
Well, the thing is, Kowalczyk put Rose's rich old husband in jail for murder, And Rose lives in Kowalchuk's jurisdiction. Kinda awkward all round.
And Rose got Ashland Stables out of the divorce. No contest with the old bastard locked away.
That, too. All in all, you can see how it'd raise a few hackles if Kowalchuk started hanging around with her. So I guess Kowalchuk gets kind of crazy when there's something bad happening to Rose and he can't be there to help her.
That still doesn't give him any right to come accusing me of crap.
No, it doesn't. If he comes around again, tell him to come see me, or I'll go see him. And I'll try to have a talk with him about jumping to conclusions. But don't go taking a poke at him, okay?
Okay, Dad.
Good. I know Kowalchuk's been damned aggravating, but things can get pretty twisted up when two people are crazy in love with each other and have to live apart.
I guess you knew something about that, too.
Yeah, I guess I'm learning.
What happened?
What'd your mother tell you?
She said she had something to do with some friend of yours going to jail, and you got mad and walked out.
How'd your beer?
Almost.
And throw another couple of sticks on that fire, too, would you?
Sure.
The guy your mother turned in wasn't really a friend of mine. I just knew him to say hello.
Then why?
Your mother was cleaning Charlie Warner's house and found out he had an illegal gun collection. Knew right he went to study fine machinery. Then a kid who lived across the woods from Charlie Warner got killed playing with an illegal gun he found in the woods. So your mother called the cops on Charlie Warner so it wouldn't happen again. Only it turned out the gun wasn't one of Charlie Warner's. His were all locked up safe and no danger to anybody. Last I heard, Charlie Warner's lawyer was trying to plea bargain down to 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah. With all the panic about guns these days, anybody with a collection of antique pistols and automatic weapons must be a machine gun Kelly.
So, Mom made a mistake.
I have yet to hear her say that. So far as I know, she doesn't think it was a mistake. Charlie Warner broke the law, didn't he? Kind of makes me wonder whether I've changed or she's changed, or whether in 27 years of marriage we've been so busy we never really got to know each other.
So, what are you going to do?
I don't know. And now whenever I think of your mother, I think of some poor sap rotting in jail because he trusted her, and I can't stop thinking about it. You talked to Robbie much lately?
Some. Went out for a couple of beers tonight. Probably more than a couple tomorrow night. Wing night at the Black Bar.
The last couple times I've seen him, when he's dropped up here for a visit, seems like he's... like there's something he wants to say, can't say it.
Seems to be a lot of that going around in our family these days.
Maybe he's just being careful with me. Anyway, if I know your mother, she's already thinking up her own ways to try and solve the problem with you and Kowalchuk and Rose's horses.
It's my problem.
Yeah, like my problem is my problem.
What's the matter, Miss Melissa? You see something sad at the window?
Mommy's been gone a long time.
Well, you know Mom. She probably saw a sale on somewhere.
Maybe she went to see Daddy.
I don't think so.
Do they still love each other?
Of course they do. And they still love you, too.
Then why won't he come home?
Well, he does sometimes, doesn't he? When Mom's not here? And he picks you up from school some days.
That's not what I mean.
Do you have friends at school who you sometimes get mad at and won't talk to for days?
Yeah, but we're just kids.
Well, just because people get bigger doesn't mean they'd get everything sorted out. I'm twice as big as you, but the only thing I've learned for sure about love is it's a lot more complicated than I thought it was.
There's Mommy's car!
Well, I dried off Clyde pretty good when I brought him in, but he made a break for it straight to Melissa's room. Just clean rain, no mud. What's the problem, Mom? Or is that a stupid question?
I was just wondering about how far somebody might go just for the sake of spite and envy.
Somebody being spiteful to you?
Oh, no. I was just thinking about Rose's horses, and it's hard for me to think things out without thinking aloud to your father.
He thinks about you all the time, too. Mom, why don't you just tell him you're sorry about putting that guy in jail?
Because I'm not sorry. Oh, I'm sorry that Charlie Warner has to go to jail. But not as sorry as I'd be if one of his guns got stolen and killed somebody.
It's lonely being right.
How do you want your eggs?
Over.
Sounds like scrambled to me. The choices for toast this morning are whole wheat or whole wheat.
Mom, don't.
Don't what?
I think you're not quite awake yet, Mom.
Or woke up on another planet. You remember yesterday morning, Mom, we decided we'd do toast in the oven till I can get down to the hardware store and get a new cord? I ain't as good as Dad at patching junk together, but I can handle a toaster cord.
It's perfectly safe with the electrical tape around it.
Sure, when it's hanging straight, but if the cord gets bent or twisted against something, the wires...
That's it.
What?
I have to call Rose. You kids can manage breakfast.
But Ben and I walked all around where he said that buried power cable was, and nothing happened to us.
But you're not a 2,000-pound workhorse with 4 metal shoes on. If there's just a little crack or a split or something in the insulation, a person could be standing right on top of it and it wouldn't open. But a big horse tromping around the pasture hits that spot on the ground with its full weight. The crack pops open, and a jolt of electricity shoots through the horse. Well, not enough to leave burn marks, but enough of a shock to stop its heart. The horse falls sideways away from that one little spot on the ground, and the crack seals up again.
Oh, Bonnie, if you're right.
Easy enough to find out. Now, if you phone Nova Scotia Power and tell them there's a buried cable line you think is leaking electricity, they'll have an emergency crew out lickety-split. And if I am right, they'll owe you for the horses. That line could have been already cracked when they put it in. I know it won't bring your horses back, but...
But it'd mean I could afford to replace them. Not that you can ever replace a horse, no more than a person, but how did you figure it out?
A toaster told me.
No, the steamer pocket was in the side cupboard.
Since when?
Since after the last time you were home, I guess.
The movie starts at 8 o'clock.
We'll get there in time, honey. Why don't you head out to the car and I'll meet you in a minute.
Okay. But we have to hurry.
You can just leave the roasting pan to soak. Sure you boys don't want to come along?
Oh, geez, Mom, I'd really like to see that new Huggy Bears movie, but if me and Robbie don't spend some of my Texas money on wings and beer, the local economy will fall down.
Well, I'll see you when I see you then. Try and keep Robbie out of trouble.
Fat chance.
Bye, Mom.
And it's done it. You about ready to saddle up?
Not yet. There's something I have to talk to you about.
Sounds pretty serious.
Yeah, I guess it is, too.
Oh, saved by the bell. Hello?
Is Mrs. Marsden there, please?
She just left. Back in a few hours.
Moyle?
Yeah?
It's Corporal Kowalchuk. I wonder if you could pass on a message to her.
What?
Her theory about the horses at Ashland Stables and the faulty power line turned out to be exactly correct. So I owe her my thanks and congratulations. And I owe you an apology. I was way out of line.
Yeah, you were.
I was unprofessional, and you have a case. You would be within your rights to lay a harassment charge.
Well, I say you shouldn't have done it, and you say you shouldn't have done it. So that's the end of it, right?
If you say so.
I just did. So, you were saying?
What was that all about?
Oh, just Kowalchuk trying to play kissy face because he screwed up. Now, what's this serious business you have to talk to me about before we can go for a beer? You knock somebody up?
No. I haven't talked to Mom or Dad about this yet. I haven't even told Darcy. I figured if I could tell you, I could tell anybody.
Thanks.
I didn't mean it like that. I meant... Anyway. You see, I like girls, even though it gets me into trouble sometimes.
Tell me about it.
But I found out I like boys, too. I mean men. I mean some men. I mean, there's some guys I know that being around them or watching them dance makes me feel like watching Sherry McGuigan at the swimming pool. I tried to tell myself it was just the same as getting a kick out of watching a buddy who's good at baseball, but it wasn't. And some of those guys, well, one of those guys, we've done more than dance. I guess what I'm trying to tell you, Moyle, is... Well, I guess I already told you what I'm trying to tell you. Moyle?
I heard you. You still like girls, but you like boys, too. You still like beer?
Yeah.
What the hell are we doing sitting around here?
But don't you go picking any fights with Frank Ryan.
Oh, you're the one that always...
I'm just a peaceful little fellow that always gets dragged into trouble by my roughneck brothers.
You have just heard 4 Feet Down, written by John Abelard, the newest episode of Clean Sweep. In the cast, Deborah Allen was Bonnie Marsden, and Richard Donat was her husband Ben. The others in the cast were Kevin Curran as Moyle, Ryan Rogerson as Robbie, Ashley Swain as Melissa, Rhonda McLean as Rose Coppin, Michael Pellerin as Corporal Kowalchuk, and Richard Davidson as Tom Cavanaugh. The music was composed by Scott McMillan and David McIsaac, and was performed by Gordon Stobie, Jamie Gatti, and Andre Lacroix, along with the 2 composers. The recording engineer was Pat Martin. Sound effects, Dermot Kenny. The associate producer was Peggy Hensworth. Casting was by John Dunsworth and Alex Duncan. Clean Sweep was produced and directed in Halifax by Bill Howell, the executive producer of The Mystery Project. I'm Bob Boving, thanking you for listening and inviting your comments.